GOPAC. The Global Organization of Parliamentarians Against Corruption is an international network of current and former parliamentarians working through regional and national chapters dedicated to the fight against corruption and the promotion of good governance. GOPAC was the initiative of former Canadian parliamentarian John Williams. He felt that too many parliamentary conferences were being held that focused solely on dialogue and not on delivering results. Mr. Williams believed that an international organization of parliamentarians dedicated to improving parliaments as institutions of oversight and that focused itself on delivering results was needed. Our African colleagues took the first step toward building a significant movement of parliamentarians fighting corruption with the establishment of the African Parliamentarians Network Against Corruption, APNAC, in Kampala, Uganda in 1999. Under the leadership of Augustine Ruzindana, former Ugandan Member of Parliament, these African parliamentarians felt that corruption could best be controlled by strengthening systems of accountability, transparency, and increasing public participation in the governance process of African nations. Building on the work in Uganda, the global organization was subsequently established at a global conference of some 150-plus international parliamentarians held in Canada's House of Commons in October 2002. The conference officially launched GOPAC as the global network for parliamentarians interested in fighting corruption. The GOPAC Conference Declaration. We assembled parliamentarians declare our commitment to providing leadership in the fight against corruption. To help accomplish that objective, we have created GOPAC, the Global Organization of Parliamentarians Against Corruption. GOPAC will serve as a global, action-oriented network to strengthen the work of parliaments and parliamentarians in fighting corruption. We leave this founding conference with enthusiasm and with dedication to create regional and national chapters of GOPAC as the front lines in the fight against corruption. Adopted by parliamentarians at the founding conference of GOPAC, Ottawa, the 16th day of October 2002. Since 2002, GOPAC has continued to grow. From the initial global conference of some 50 countries, GOPAC now has members in over 90-plus countries of the world. Some of the places you can find our GOPAC members include: in Africa, Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Chad, Gambia, Ghana, Kenya, Liberia, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. In the Arab region, Kuwait, Lebanon, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Egypt, Algeria, Morocco, Palestine, and Yemen. In Latin America, Mexico, Bolivia, Colombia, El Salvador, Paraguay, and Peru. In North America, Canada and the United States. And in Asia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Nepal, Pakistan, the Philippines, and Timor-Leste. GOPAC members have chosen to undertake national, regional, and international activities, focusing on parliamentarians' role in fighting corruption. In Africa, the APNAC Regional Chapter has produced a draft handbook for parliamentarians on corruption and organized a session called Training of Trainers. In the Arab region, RPAC has produced a regional guide on the UN COC. GOPAC has raised the visibility of the important roles of parliamentarians in preventing corruption. It has set initial benchmarks for their capacity and performance of parliamentarians and has provided considerable global guidance. And, of course, many members and country chapters have pursued important reforms. Nonetheless, GOPAC feels that it needs an explicit program of reforms to help prevent corruption in support of UNCOC and other international conventions over the next 5 years. At its global conference in Mexico City, it is identifying specific weaknesses identified by its members in over 30 countries that need to be addressed. Its global task forces will be working with regional chapters to support and encourage its country's chapters in pursuing these reforms. In addition, GOPAC will focus on training parliamentarians on their democratic roles, as well as promoting the credibility of parliamentarians with citizens. In many countries, parliamentarians are seriously limited in playing a corruption prevention role. Finally, GOPAC will continue to seek partners with expertise and programming that complement its agenda and extend its informing the public on the social and economic costs of corruption and the ways that they can support their elected officials and government in preventing corruption.